Hey guys, today's video is about why I decided not to buy a Gibson guitar, right? At least not here in the USA. And I'll tell you why. Alright, Gibson is playing games with your mind, okay? Now, I made a list, right? They have an inferior guitar finish sold and marketed as superior, right? Now, I looked into it. Turns out that the finish they're using is called nitrocellulose, and that you bring your guitar from inside the house outside of the cold and you bring it back in, it cracks. Why would you want that on your guitar? You know, they even try to sell it as a plus. You know, they're like, oh, it ages well. Look at all this like cracks in the finish. I mean, like, wait a second, that's not a good thing. Would you want a car that you drive out of the garage and it cracks on you? You don't want that. Nobody wants that. What on earth? They're messing with your mind. They're trying to tell you that this is a good thing. It's like, no, wait, whoa. How would you like a pair of pants that as soon as you walk out into the cold, it got holes in it? You don't want that. You want something that looks new for as long as possible. That's what I want, right? And not only that, they're actually trashing the guitar and selling it for more with their Murphy Lab stuff. It's like, wait a second, like I looked at some of their like more aged offerings for like $6 grand, $7 grand. I'm looking at it as like, that looks like garbage. You know, it looks like something that I'll see at like buying used. Like I'll go to the section, you know, at like Guitar Center, and oh, here's a used section. I'll see that. I'll be like, oh my god, that is just too worn out. No, I'm not buying that. I wouldn't even pay like $300 for that, because then I'm gonna have to refinish it and repaint it. It looks terrible, you know. But yet they're selling it for like so much more money. They're calling it custom shop, Murphy Lab aged and stuff like that. I'm like, stop messing with people's minds. You're messing with people's minds. How is that worth more? All worn out and broken. Ridiculous, okay? Now, they sue people, right? It's like I'm reading into the history of them suing this, suing that, suing this. And they don't always win. They sue and they lose, they sue and they lose. All this costs money. Lawyers cost a lot of money. You know, they're not McDonald's. They don't sell billions and billions of guitars. You know, so I can imagine like half the price of the guitars going to the lawyers. It's like, why am I paying them so they can go happily sue people all day? If I'm gonna pay $3 grand for a guitar, I want it because, you know, the $3 grand goes into the guitar, not because they go and they use that money to sue people. Ridiculous. Intellectual property, they say. That's not real. I don't believe in it. All right. So let's say you got any item. That item has an intrinsic value, right? If you invented it and you made it, you know, and you're selling it at a certain price, it should be a competitive price, right? But if your product is going to be really expensive, it should be so special and hard to make that other people cannot make it, right? Other people cannot make it. That's why your stuff is so expensive, like iPhone, for example. I doubt there are people out there that can make an iPhone for less than what Apple is selling it for. I don't think so. It is really hard to make. Who's going to make that? Not going to be easy, guys. Right? So, Gibson guitar. You got a piece of wood, some metal, and some strings. Okay? They sell it for a lot. Right? Sure, they're popular for a reason. I'll tell you why. Right? And then so other people make it, and then they sue them. Right? So if the reason no one else is making them is only because you sue them, and not because they actually cannot, then your item is not that special. It's like you're bullying people to stop doing that so you can make it yourself and sell it for a high price. That's fake, guys. That is so fake. No. All right. They spend a lot of money on marketing, brand ambassadors and stuff, right? Now, believe it or not, guys, Les Paul is not a guitar. Les Paul is a person, a person that they paid back in the day to use such guitar exclusively, like on TV and stuff, to boost the value. Guys, if you have to pay someone, to use your product just to make you look good, that is sickening. That is low, guys. That is the same as me paying some girls to hang out with me to make me look good. It's fake. It's like, who am I trying to kid? Hey baby, come here, yeah, and let me buy you some drinks, yeah, and then you find out that I pay these girls, to like hang out with me. How depressing is that? You're like, oh my god, that is sick. He needs help, right? Gibson went and did that. That's why they call it the Les Paul. They paid Les Paul money, make him use no other guitar. Can't believe it. No, that is not right, guys. Like I don't know how other people are okay with that. All right, here we go. They play mind games with trim levels. Okay, if you want binding and you want arch top, you want whatever, nice inlays, you gotta pay for their standard Les Paul. All right, fine. Right, back in the day, there weren't anyone else making those guitars, like when they first started, like 1955 or 59, whatever the time it was, right? And if you want something cheaper, they're like, what can I do to make the guitar cheaper? Fine, we'll leave off the binding, put some crap inlay instead of the hard to fit in trapezoid or whatever, and we'll sell it for less. All right, fine, understandable. Nowadays, I'm looking at the prices. Les Paul standard, $2,800. And then if you leave, then they try to sell you the Les Paul Studio with nothing on it for what, $1,800? I'm like, whoa. It's still $1,800, guys. Well, I mean, the trim level is fake because you can get a $200 guitar featuring bindings and the trapezoid inlays. It's like, if it's like $200 on that guitar, it comes with all the trim. How much does the trim really cost Gibson that they'll leave off on like a $1,800 guitar? It's like, that is messed up. If I'm paying $1,800, that's a lot of money. I want the trim. How dare you? It's like this trim levels. It's stupid. They do the same thing with Epiphone. You want to get that, you gotta pay so much, and then the lower price, you get no trim. Meanwhile, the trim is really very inexpensive. You need the binding, so you bang the guitar against something, it doesn't dent like wood. It's there for a purpose. Then you're gonna spend $1,800 on the guitar without it. That is nuts, guys. No good. All right, USA prices versus Germany prices. I just so happened to be browsing the web on Thoman's website, and I'm looking at, Gibson Les Paul, $1,900 brand new. That's not bad. I click it, add to cart, and it says, sorry, we are not allowed to ship to the country that that you're in to. I'm like, wait a second. So the Les Paul standard 60s, $1,900 in Germany, right? And this is after they make it here in the USA. They somehow spend the money to ship it all the way to Germany, and it's sold for $1,900. But over here, you go to the store, it's $2,800, and it didn't have to ship it nowhere. I mean, it'll have to ship it to your city, but how is that right? Why is it cheaper in Germany? Why is it that Germany is not allowed to send it to me here? I'll be happy to pay the $100 shipping. If it's $1,900, I might buy the Les Paul Standard 60s. I'll be like, you know what? Give me one of those, Thomann. Send it to me. But no, it's some fake agreement they got going on. Like corporate policy and stuff. It's like, what are you doing with these mind games? And Is it worth 2,800 or is it not worth 2,800? Why are you selling it for 1,900 over there and it's 2,800 over here? How dare you? You think I'm not gonna find out? You think that no one's gonna go and be like, hey, it's 1,900 there, let me buy one. Gibson don't allow it to be sold back into the country. It's like, you know what? That's games they're playing. They're playing games with your mind. Okay, the Epiphone game. Right, Epiphone, they make it. They could have put Gibson on it. For years, they make the Epiphone headstock look like a maxi pad with the trimmed off ears and everything. It looks literally like a maxi pad. You take a Kotex out or something and you look at it and say, wow, it looks like an Epiphone headstock. They did that and they put like a little Gibson headstock within it, you know, so you feel like a second-class citizen if you buy it, right? Now look at PRS. They don't do that. They put SE right underneath it. No one thinks it's American made or whatever, but they don't do that, you know? Like, and then lately they put the inspired by Gibson. They're finally coming around a little bit, but it still says Epiphone on it. It's like, wait a second, why? You know, it's all the same company. You own that stuff. Why are you trying to separate it and play mind games with people? Yeah, they're messing with your mind. I hate that, right? And not only that, if you want a Epiphone 60s Les Paul, it's 650 bucks. But if you go to Germany, Thomann has it for 460 bucks. I add that to the cart, sorry, no sending it to the United States. It's like, so you're messing with your mind, man. How is it that, you know, you make the Epiphone in China, ship it to Germany, 460. Ship it over here, 650. And it's like, that's a percentage wise, that's a pretty big amount, you know, ridiculous. And finally, if Gibson is so good, then why does it seem like the pros, they buy the Gibson, they throw away the Gibson pickups and install Seymour Duncans? It's like everyone I think of who uses Gibsons like professionally, they throw away the Gibson pickups and put in Seymour Duncans. It doesn't make any sense, you know? And meanwhile, Gibson tries to sell you on the idea that their pickups are really good, but that's not what they use. You might as well just buy a Seymour Duncan, right? It's like there's a model of Epiphone called the about 1959 or something, featuring Gibson pickups. And you got to pay more for that. Say, why bother? You're going to have to throw that away and put in Seymour Duncans. Makes no sense. Now guys, if Gibson wants to gain my respect, this is what they have to do. They got to go and get rid of Epiphone, except for like the Epiphone originals, right? Totally get rid of Epiphone, the name, and call it Gibson EP, right? Same logo, same headstock, same guitar, but just put EP on it so that you know that it's like, you know, formerly the Epiphone company, which they own it anyway, you know? If they did that, I would feel like respectful. I'll be like, you know what? They're respecting the people, you know? They're not playing games anymore. It's like, really, you got an SG, I mean, like inspired by Gibson line. It's like exactly the same thing except for the headstock and the name. Just put Gibson on the headstock. I mean, that's what they should do. Make the Gibson EP line. And boom, you know, I would buy it. I might even buy the high price one if I was in Germany, you know. But anyway, so why am I even talking about this? Like, how do I come about talking about this? Well, you see, you know, I'm getting kind of old, midlife crisis and all that. And I said to myself, you know, I never had owned a high level, nice guitar. You know what I mean? So I looked into like, you know, like what it is, because I'm not just going to throw money, like throw like $3,000 away at something without studying it first, knowing what it's more all about, you know? So I looked into Gibson because I was considering getting one of their offerings, but I mean, like I got a lot of Harley Bentons and stuff over here, you know, for fun and stuff. But I would like to get something so-called nice, you know, because a lot of YouTube videos out there, they'll always say like, oh yeah, but it's not as nice as a Gibson, you know, or it's not as nice as, you know, a PRS, or like, oh, it's not as nice as this like custom luthier $5,000 masterpiece. I'm like, well, what's the real difference, you know? So because Gibson is such a, you know, household name, I looked into it, and it's like they're just messing with your mind. They're just messing with your mind. That's not worth that kind of money, you know. Like, I feel like I want to go down to like Gibson Garage in Nashville and like print out the website from Thomann, you know, the price over there, and say, hey, listen, why are you selling it for this much over there and I had to pay this much over here? You give me that guitar for this much and I'll buy it. And then I'm going to have to get it refinished in a durable finish because that nitro is not going to last. You take it outside and it cracks. That's nonsense, guys.